Hello YouTube, you find me with the beginnings of a summer cold today, but is that going to deter me from jabbering on at length about nothing in particular? No, it's not. Especially since I've got something absolutely gorgeous to review, something that I have coveted since the moment I saw it. Since I saw the animated model in the cartoon, since I started seeing the photographs of the toy filtering onto the net, and then you bastards who got it before me reviewing it first. Oh yes, I've been consumed with covetousness, envy and jealousy for this toy. And here it is. This is Transformers animated Shockwave. And this is actually the recolor of Shockwave that came out recently, the purple one. Ah, yes. It's the one-eyed purple people eater version that's designed to look a wee bit more like the Gen 1 Shockwave, at least in colour scheme. And it's gorgeous. Now, Shockwave's been quite a pivotal character in the animated cartoon thus far. He's, in terms of character, he's based it to some degree on Generation 1 Shockwave. He shares certain characteristics with him, not to mention the voice actor who played him. That's very nice. Hearing Gen 1 Shockwave's voice coming from the new animated version, that's lovely. It's also the guy who plays Megatron. I can't quite remember his name, though. He's very good, either way. He is, like Gen 1 Shockwave, fanatically loyal to Megatron, thus far. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me they might actually turn that around. I don't know at the moment. The thing with the original Gen 1 Shockwave is that he had various different incarnations depending on what continuity he followed. In the cartoon, he was fanatically loyal to Megatron. In the comics, he was actually in complete opposition to Megatron. He was an alternative leader who beat the shit out of him in some of the British comics. He was really powerful. He was one of the very few, and in the Dreamwave comics actually, he really went to town on Megatron. Especially in War and Peace. Good God, he did a number on Megatron in that one. Megatron did get his own back later though, and ripped his arm off, which is very, very nice, and shot him through the chest with his fusion cannon as well. Lovely. But whether this Shockwave will follow his Generation 1 counterparts to the letter, who knows? We don't know yet. He's currently at large on Cybertron, and his story has yet to play out. What's also rather interesting about this Shockwave is that his function has changed somewhat. He's no longer the military strategist of the Decepticons. He is their chief espionage expert. He has the rather peculiar ability to transform himself into the likeness of an Autobot known as Longarm, and has infiltrated the Autobot ranks on Cybertron. Now this is really rather interesting. I mean, either Shockwave is one of the cleverest and most capable Transformers in existence, or the Autobots are morons. I mean, okay, you might expect one or two Decepticon agents to infiltrate at some level in the Autobot ranks, but for a Decepticon double agent to rise to the position of chief intelligence officer, that is some profound incompetence on behalf of the Autobots, really, isn't it? That does demonstrate something of a lack of awareness, especially when you're in a sort of wartime situation anyway. But yes, that's what he managed. He has been discovered now. No thanks at all to the Autobots on Cybertron. It's all due to the group of Autobots who are millions of light years away on Earth. And even when he was discovered, he demonstrated an incredible degree of capability by crippling Ultra Magnus, really doing a number on him. Now, as for the toy itself, it is currently competing for me in my collection with Oil Slick in terms of transgasmic awesomeness. He has two vehicle modes, one Autobot and one Decepticon. This, of course, is his Decepticon mode, and it's a Cybertronian battle tank. Now, whenever a Transformers alt mode is described as Cybertronian, alarm bells start to go off in my head because it's usually a synonym for shit. But it most certainly isn't in this case. Considering that he has another alt mode and two robot modes, this is an incredibly coherent mode, and it looks fabulous. It really displays well. It has certain design features that are actually quite reminiscent of Armada Megatron in his tank mode, which is nice. And unlike most of the animated toys, they've really gone to town on the detail on it. It is chock full of details. In terms of articulation, there's just enough for it to be adequate, really. I mean, the turret will go around and the big gun will go up and down. He has these two little tertiary guns as well, which will also go up and down. That's rather cool. He rolls along on some little wheels. The tank treads don't go around, unfortunately, but can't expect miracles. And the overall aesthetic of the tank mode is just enhanced by this gorgeous colour scheme. I really do prefer the purple to the grey. The grey one's perfectly fine, it's a great transformer, but Shockwave and purple, they go together like Megatron and big phallic guns. Now before I get on to the transformation into his Autobot vehicle mode, there is one little gripe, not with the toy itself as such, but with the instructions Hasbro give you. The instructions to this guy suck. They suck to the extent that you could quite easily break this toy by following what they seem to portray. It's quite, for an animated toy, this is incredibly complicated. It has lots of bizarre little hinges and joints and bits that you have to twist around at a particular angle so that it all hangs together. And when I first got it, I was transforming it completely wrong. These things here, they twist round at about 90 degrees so that these pins will fit into these slots correctly, but I wasn't twisting these round. There is nothing on the instructions that indicates you should. I didn't even know that these could twist round, and as a result I was sort of forcing these pins in here, and it wasn't hanging together properly, and at first I thought, well, that's just poorly designed, isn't it? And then I very fortunately saw someone's review. I think it was Ray's, actually. I was watching Ray's review of this, and I saw him twisting those round. Ah, that's what you're doing wrong, you moron. So yes, please be aware. Don't even follow the fucking instructions to this thing. If you get this guy, just look at someone's review on YouTube and watch it transform properly. Right then, on to his Autobot vehicle mode. And there he is in his long arm Autobot vehicle mode. Now some people have complained that it's not really much of a transition from the tank mode, and it's really not, but it does look distinct enough from it that it looks pretty much like a different vehicle. And that's really all that matters. And also, it is a very simple transformation, but again, it's rather ingenious. I like the way that it's elevated. It certainly gives it the look of an automated, robotic construction crane. And I also like the fact that they've deliberately given the Autobot mode something that's much more passive and constructive. So it's just a nice little attention to detail. He has all exactly the same articulation as the tank mode. The turret will go around and this will go up and down. It's a shame that this little hook doesn't come out on a grapple or something to that effect, but I don't suppose you can have everything. And it of course retains all of the colours and detail from his tank mode. Now I really like to display him in this mode because he stands beautifully, and I think it looks really, really cool. It does have in both modes just a wee bit of GoBot visible face syndrome there, but considering that it's going to be down like that for the most part, you're not going to see it, so who cares? And just like the tank mode, he hangs together really well. There's nothing terribly loose or anything to that effect. All the joints slot together beautifully, which is nice. A good solid transformer, I like that. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, the plastic is ace. He's got beautiful, hard, dense plastic all over him. Right then, onto his long arm robot mode.